Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Shout out to everybody that's been listening and giving us feedback on the fan series. Definitely check that out. It's been really cool to interact with a whole lot of different fans from around the country, around the globe. So yeah, just go to the playlist, check out fan series. All the interviews are posted on there. If you'd like to participate in one, just hit us up in the DMs or just send us a message, leave us a comment. We'll try to get back to you. Quick topic I just wanted to jump into really quick. And no, I promise it's not Jamal Adams. We're going to stay away from that for a little bit because I'm exhausted on that one. And this topic I'm starting to get exhausted on too. Sam Darnold and what his ceiling is, what the expectations should be entering year three. I think it's a fascinating discussion because I've always been a believer that Sam Darnold is not just a good quarterback, that he could be an elite quarterback. And no, I did not believe that just when the Jets drafted him. There was an article that I did, one of the first actually magazines that we put out for NYSF Mag. I broke down the 2018 draft class. And, that was probably one of the first, if not the second spread that we did. And it was about a 3-page spread. I tried to rank all the draft prospects. And again, I'm no draft analyst, but for that time period, that was probably the most I ever watched out of, any of the draft picks, especially any of the quarterbacks, because we all knew the Jets were going to be taking a quarterback that year. So, I went up and down on those prospects. And the one guy I'll admit I got it wrong on was Lamar Jackson, just because, he was drafted into a perfect situation. I think we all knew the athleticism was there, but whether or not he would, get drafted into an offense that would cater to that skill set, with talent around him, he walked into the perfect situation. I've seen a few tweets saying if Lamar Jackson was a Jet, what would he be right now? Good question, and I don't think he would be a league MVP for certain. So obviously I think a lot of this hinges on where you go, what offense you're in, and what talent you have around you. And so that brings me back to Sam Darnold. And I mean, this guy's been given probably the shittiest hand you can be dealt for a rookie quarterback, in his first 2 years. You're talking about, his first year, the coach and the offensive coordinator, Todd Bowles, Jeremy Bates, obviously not ideal, but he kind of weathered that storm, got off to a fast start that first year. The offense was putting up points early on. And then, the downhill kind of started with Spencer Long when he got hurt and was snapping the balls over his head. That eventually led to Darnold getting hurt, and he missed, I believe it was 3 games. I'm not exactly certain. But the positive thing was that when he came back, he was a beast. He went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers in that one game. I think it was like 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Probably the best that I can remember seeing him look. In those final 4 games, I know he finished number 1 in QBR as well. And again, that was with a poor coaching staff. He didn't have LeVeon Bell. He didn't have Jamison Crowder. Robbie Anderson was kind of his only weapon at the time. So I was very encouraged after that first year. I felt like he was absolutely trending in that direction where you'd say this is going to be an elite quarterback. And even last year, the mono, trying to overcome that, I can only imagine what that was like, to get that after week 1, heartbreaking week 1 loss. And then, by the time you come back, the season was pretty much in the tubes already. So I have a lot of faith in Darnold. The way he bounced back last year, he was still 7-6 as a starter, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks in those last, I think, 7 or 8 games. So you saw the flashes, and the biggest thing is obviously doing it consistently. Continuing to cut back on the turnovers. People mention the footwork a lot. I'm up and down on that because I think that's one of his greatest gifts, is that he can make those throws when his footwork is erratic, and that's something that has been said for Pat Mahomes, for Aaron Rodgers. Those guys can do it, in a very unorthodox way and still get the ball there and still make plays. They keep their eyes downfield. They're great in the pocket. They know how to manipulate the pocket to buy an extra second or two. And I think that's something that Sam Darnold does so well. And again, just going back to, his time at USC, that was the one thing that always jumped out at me. When I watched him, just the subtle movements that he would make in the pocket to buy that extra time to hit an open receiver or to allow a receiver to get open, that was what separated him from me. So I always had him as the number 1 quarterback in that draft class. There's not a throw on the field that he can't make. There's no off the field concerns, like, some things you had with Baker, and Rosen as well at the time. And even Josh Allen, I actually like Josh Allen more than some people. I just think, his accuracy issues are eventually going to be the downfall for him. But right now he's set up in a very good situation, almost like Mark Sanchez, his first 2 years, where he came in to a nice program, good head coach, better head coach than Rex Ryan, to be honest. I think with McDermott, and they cater to his skill set. They allow him to run the ball. They surrounded him with talent, and a kid that I think has less talent than Sam Darnold has been more successful. So I can only imagine if this offensive line has truly been rebuilt, if Perriman can actually fill the shoes of Robbie Anderson, and if Le'Veon Bell continues to hopefully get used the right way, and people keep commenting, oh, Le'Veon Bell wasn't misused last year. Bullshit, dude. Stop. I mean, a guy doesn't go from what he was doing in Pittsburgh to what he did here last year. And I'm not saying the offensive line didn't contribute to some of it, but all of it, no. There were way too many times that the play calling was just way too predictable. 1st and 10, run up the middle. 2nd and 10, run up the middle. I mean, and then there were other times where he just wasn't used, period. Other times that he wasn't used in the slot, which, he excels at. So there are various ways that we can point to where Bell was misused last year, but he is still an elite talent. So that's something that has to be utilized for Sam this year. And if it is, I look at a guy like Herndon as well, who's going to be coming back, who I think we all had ridiculously high expectations for after his first season. Somebody that I think solidified himself as a potential starting caliber tight end in this league. He's got the receiving ability. He's got the speed. Going back to the last 2 training camps, he was, arguably Darnold's #1 target, as a nice safety blanket. So I think that there are enough weapons. I'd be concerned if a receiver goes down. I don't think they can afford to lose any receivers right now, whether it's Mims, Crowder, or Perriman. I think if one of those guys go down, then you're kind of in trouble, and you either have to make a move or just hope that, Vincent Smith or Berrios or somebody like that steps up. But at the end of the day, I'm expecting big things from Darnold this year. I know a lot of it does hinge on Adam Gase, and I'll continue to say that. I think at this age, he's going to be 23 when the season starts. I think at this age, it's on Adam Gase to unlock that potential and to put him in a position to succeed, to make him comfortable, and, just to unlock those abilities, because he has him there. It's about doing it consistently. And so I think that does fall on Adam Gase more. If we're talking about missing wide open receivers and things like that, then yeah, that would obviously fall on Sam. But at the end of the day, I think it has to become easier for him through the offense, through the system, through the play calling, catching defenses off guard, taking advantage of, mismatches on the defense. That's something that we just didn't see enough of last year. And I think if Adam Gase can just do some of that this year for Sam, I think you're going to see a ridiculous leap. I don't want to put numbers on it, but, I think he could be right up there as a top 10 quarterback this year. And I think by the time his rookie contract is done, it would not surprise me if we're talking about Sam Darnold as a potential top 5 quarterback in this league. I know that's crazy to say as a Jet fan. We're not used to having a quarterback like that that's in those conversations. But I think Darnold does have that ability. And the one thing I'm going to leave you with, which I know I'm going to get roasted for because of the guy who said it, but just a quick story that I just want to share. I've only shared this, I think, one time on the podcast a couple of years ago, right after it happened. So a lot of you guys probably haven't heard it, since many of you are new subscribers on here. When the Jets did their Jets new uniform event, I was fortunate enough to, be able to get out there and to cover that. And after the event was over, Mike McCadden, he was there. He was talking, with a bunch of different fans. And, for those that know me, I was a big Mike McCadden fan at the time. Obviously, I regret the way that went down. But that was my first chance to ever, have a chance to actually speak with him. So, I waited for him to, finish talking with some fans and everything. And I kind of, nuzzled my way into the conversation. And we started chatting a little bit. And I quickly brought up Sam Darnold. And his eyes just lit up. And the one thing he said to me that I'll always remember was that he was like, I don't think Jet fans realize just how good this kid's going to be. And again, the same thing that I'm saying, not just, a middle average of the road, or even a guy that's borderline, top 10, top 15, Chad Pennington. No, he was saying it like he truly believes this kid is going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the league for a very long time. And again, I know how we all feel about Mike McCadden, but that is, I think, one of the things that he absolutely got right. Making that trade up to be in position to get a guy like Darnold. And so my confidence on Sam, it has not wavered one bit. I still think he has that ability, and he's going to be not just a good quarterback, but a great quarterback. And by the time that rookie contract's done, it would not surprise me at all, if we're mentioning him among some of the best in the league. So I do have those expectations for him. I know some Jet fans don't. I know a lot of fans around the league that root for other teams definitely don't. But, just judging off what I've seen from not only college, but, what we've seen in training camp when the offense is kind of moving up tempo. Again, the guy can make all the throws, makes them on the run, even when, his footwork is off and everything like that. So, again, all the ability in the world. I'd love to see it more consistently, and I think it's going to happen soon enough. So go Jets. Talk to you guys later.